Tri-City Sports Now. It's finishing up with the ETSU information. They played over in Europe in Czechoslovakia. This trip to me, doesn't this seem a little bit like, your next door neighbor and it's, oh, come over and look at the slides. We just went to Paris. Here, let's look at us. This is the Eiffel Tower. Yeah, great, thanks. Oh, you would have loved it. Well, why didn't you bring me along, Or like, here we went to Disney World. This is Epcot. Boy, the food was good. Here's Goofy. We went to the Magic Kingdom. Something like that. Here are the slides. And I know slides also. Maybe that's a little bit dated in itself. But maybe the reason they are slides, we had to develop the iPhone camera so people would quit showing us their slides. And in a way, in fact, in a very strong way, I kind of think that's the ETSU trip. Look, I'm looking at this team, Plazen. You know nothing about them. I know nothing about them. I spent about 10 minutes trying to find over on Google and internet searches about them. And the one team that I saw that was called Plazen over in Czechoslovakia, there was about a 500 team. Okay, ETSU beats them 103-76. Bo Hodges, 25 points, 10 of 16 shooting. So what? They're going to go to Germany tonight. Say schuss when people are nice to them. That means thank you. They're going to play 2 more games in Europe. It's going to be at Saturday at 5 in the morning, Monday at 4 a.m. I thought that the Georgia trip, about 12 years ago, I say Georgia trip, the Hawaii trip, 12 years ago, in which ETSU beat Georgia, but nobody knew about it because the game ended at 3 a.m. This is the same thing. The exact same thing. Only the thing was, it's kind of impressive, and I know the reason why ETSU beat Georgia 12 years ago. It's because Georgia just arrived in Hawaii. They were jet lagged, and ETSU had arrived before, okay? That was the reason why. Well, they've arrived in plenty of time over in, Czechoslovakia. Got 27 points off of turnovers, which again tells me they didn't really play that good of a team. 33 fast break points, 62 points in the paint. They weren't really playing anybody who was all that good. So Bo gets, a big news, like I said, I'll reiterate it. What's Patrick Good's hip going to be like? He's not over there. What's it going to be like? Is he going to be able to play? Is he going to be on time? By the way, ETSU, that was not the only story surrounding the Buccaneers, because they have decided to release some of their schedule, and we now know at ETSU when they will take on the Kansas Jayhawks. Anybody remember when Kansas was supposed to, it was got the time when the Grantland Rice Bowl team was honored the first time 25 years ago. It was around then, but Kansas was supposed to come to ETSU around that era. Played the mini dome before the fire marshal destroyed it, and ETSU just went, okay, instead of having the rather, wasn't all that big of a deal to punch a couple of holes out in one side of the dome to play there, but then they sort of realized there's something called the sellout mentality. I've talked about this before, and it's not that you are selling out, it's that if I have a venue, think about this, it is much easier to sell 1,000 tickets than it is to sell 50,000 tickets, if all things are considered equal. And the idea is in sports, and I've often felt that this is one of the reasons why ETSU football says, oh, it's a sellout, even when you can see all these empty seats. And for that matter, are you really selling out when you are saying, even in these quote-unquote sellout games, oh yeah, we'll give you a ticket if you want to sit on the bank. Sure. Here, it's this much money. I'm not sure what they go for, but, usually ETSU, if you get a chair, it's about $25 a game. Or maybe some more expensive seats, but you get the idea. Anyway, situation comes about where, back in that era, when you had the bigger venue, it wasn't that unlikely. I mean, Michigan State came to ETSU a couple of times. Wake Forest did, NC State famously. So they would get some decent teams. Virginia Tech came into the Mini Dome a few times. Kansas was supposed to, but they bought their way out back in the 90s. Now, ETSU is going to be playing Kansas. It's November 19th. They're going to host regional games inside of Freedom Hall. They're actually going to have their own tournament, which I find to be kind of intriguing. But they'll go to Allen Fieldhouse. Now, it's the first time since 96. I remember 4 years before that, I think it was, that ETSU fell behind 22-0 to the Jayhawks and then held a lead late in the fourth quarter. I think they're still in Czechoslovakia, but late in the second half before falling by 3 points. But ETSU does have a schedule somewhat made up. And here we go. It's not the most intriguing schedule you've ever heard, however, if you really want to get down to brass tacks. On November 20th, they're going to be a 4-game tournament. Right? Chicago State came in last year, and there was actually a tournament, and it was 2 teams that really didn't have much of an appeal, and they were playing in front of empty seats at Freedom Hall at 4 p.m., and they called it, what was the Maui tournament? Well, it's still the Maui. It's the Jim Maui Invitational, but they're not playing the games in Maui. Don't explain. I can't explain it. They're playing them at Freedom Hall because they didn't want to renovate Mini Dome because it's easier to sell 6,000 seats at the Freedom Hall, even with its lousy atmosphere outside the venue, than it is to sell 12,000 seats inside the Mini Dome. Plus, let's face facts, the Freedom Hall, although it does have many drawbacks and is obsolete, it does offer better sightlines than a Mini Dome, but then again, what doesn't in any sport? But here we go. November 23rd, so around Thanksgiving or so. Southern Utah and Charleston Southern. That's right, the Tom Conrads will come in, and they will play each other at 11:30 in the morning. And then at let's see here, half hour after that game ends, it's ETSU against Delaware State. That's not the Blue Hens, that's a D2 team. I think they're the Hornets. Delaware State, they come in. Winner of that game, well, actually, it's not so much the winner of that game. Delaware State then takes on the, hold on here. The winner of the ETSU Delaware State game will play the winner of the Southern Utah Charleston Southern game on November 24th. So if the impossible happens and Delaware State wins, then they would play the winner. That's how it usually goes. The next day, that's an 11:30 game. And then on November 24th, ETSU, the losers bracket of that tournament. Well, it's not that. The trip to Kansas on the 19th, yeah. This tournament here, yeah. Just not that overwhelming. But Appalachian State comes in, so everybody is really excited about the non-conference schedule. Because ETSU fans, basically, the Buccaneers fall down and they give them applause. Tri-City Sports Now. Home of the Happy Bucks.